At the age of 71, we lost Hulk Hogan. Now, I know some of you may just remember him as this flawed individual that had a bunch of controversies, and then he passed. To me, he was the true American hero when I was a little kid. Because I don't think you guys understand. Everybody, even if you didn't watch wrestling, everybody knew who Hulk Hogan was. He essentially made WWE. There is no WWE without Hulk Hogan, and there is no Vince McMahon without Hulk Hogan, and there would be no Hulk Hogan without Vince McMahon. But growing up, he was like the Mount Rushmore of action stars and people that I want to be like. Remember, as a kid, especially if you grow up with a father who's not really around, you start looking for fathers elsewhere. I got attached to television and wrestlers. So when he passed, it hit home. It hurt a little bit. And then I immediately went onto YouTube and I started seeing all these old school wrestlers put out their eulogy and talk about their great experiences with Hogan. Even the people who didn't like him behind the scenes still came forward and said something nice about him. It was beautiful. I would say probably Maven's was the best one. You could check it out. I'll put it in the description below.
I will forever be a Hulkamaniac, and for that, I thank you. I hope you rest easy, brother, and I hope all the Hulkamaniacs out there understand exactly what you gave to the business.
Then I made a mistake of going on social media, and I saw this.
We care about this? You think we give a we don't care?
Oh, Hulk Hogan died.
Hulk Hogan's fucking dead. Shut the fuck up.
We're not actually mourning this motherfucker's death, are we?
Celebrate good times, come on!
Yeah! Hey, goodbye!
The half-wit, better known as Hulk Hogan, has passed on, and I, for one, am happy about it.
If you haven't heard, Hulk Hogan had a heart attack last night. All that hatred balled up in his chest. All that shit finally did its job.
I couldn't believe it. And that's what I'm gonna talk about today. Low skates.
Here's to show.
So the golden era for Hulk Hogan was during the 80s and the 90s. You couldn't look anywhere without seeing Hulk Hogan merchandise. You even had a Hulkamania workout tape. It was like a little box, came with some weights and a cassette tape. Damn, I'm old.
Hey, how can I get muscles like you guys? Wow, Mr. Wonderful!
You can start by getting in shape with a Hulkamania workout set.
Great!
It's got everything you need. Head and wristband, a jump rope for warming up, a hand gripper for power, dumbbells for strength, an exercise poster, and even Hulk's own workout tape.
The Hulkamania workout set. You from LJN.
Are you in shape yet?
Yeah!
Oh!
We had Hulk Hogan buddies, the little wrestling toys you could wrestle with, posters, lunch boxes. Pretty sure he was featured in a cereal box at one point. Let's not even talk about the movies. I mean, come on. Suburban Commando, you can't tell me that one wasn't good. Mr. Nanny, I mean, these were so bad that they were good. He was such a badass, he even choked out a host on live television.
Now, the first thing you need to know about amateur wrestling,
Yes,
or professional wrestling or submission holds, you just tell me, brother, when you want him to quit squealing, okay?
All right.
It's called a front chin lock. How about it, T?
Keep like that for a little while. Because he's all right, he's just sleeping. He's sleeping. Really, I was a sleeper hole. He'll be all right. He's waking up now. That was a serious hole for a lot of people.
See? It works. All right, brother.
and now we'll be right back after this word from you-know-who.
Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation.
Then a steroid trial happened. Now, as a kid, we didn't have social media. It just wasn't all over the news. No one really knew about it. At least I don't recall knowing about it. But Vince McMahon was getting investigated by the United States government, and they made this big deal about the steroid trial, and Hulk Hogan was named in it. And that apparently made headlines. Hulk Hogan went onto Arsenio Hall, lied about his steroid use.
Basically, I saw Lyle out here. Well, no, basically, I would. So basically, basically, I'd rather not comment on that. So that's what happened to me. Basically, okay. And basically, well, basically, I've learned a whole heck of a lot about speculation. Mm-hmm. But the things that I am not is I'm not a steroid abuser. Mm-hmm. And I do not use steroids.
Then when brought to the stand in a court hearing, he admitted that, yeah, he has used steroids. So much for say your prayers, take your vitamins, and you'll never go wrong. Had I known that the vitamins were steroids, I would have just went that route instead of the Flintstone vitamins all the way up until like 23. He kind of low-key went away from wrestling for a while, did this terrible TV show called Thunder in Paradise. Only one season, but let me tell you, back in the day, those seasons were 22 episodes to 24 episodes. I miss those days too. Felt like a TV show was always on. And then he had this massive comeback. And he joined WCW and got himself one of the most crazy contracts ever, where basically he determines what his outcome's gonna be in a match. Meaning that if he doesn't wanna lay down for you, he ain't gonna lay down for you. If he wants to be undefeated, he will stay undefeated. He had full control over the character Hulk Hogan, and he got paid handsomely. So now he's with WCW, the competitor to WWE, and he did something that changed the wrestling business. He became a bad guy. Let me be very clear. Back in the day, Hulk Hogan was a true American hero. He was always a good guy. But at one point, it started getting kind of lame. Society was changing again. You know, good was bad, bad was good. The anti-hero, anti-establishment stuff was happening again. So he decided to turn and become a bad guy, a heel, and start this fraction called NWO, which is the shirt that I'm wearing. When I tell you, that was probably the peak of wrestling, especially as a teenager. They were going against WWE's Raw, which was getting more and more mature, and they were getting more mature. People were cursing. TNA, it was just crazy chaos. Wrestlers behind the scenes were really doing drugs, partying. They were living their rock star life. It was an insane time. But Hulk Hogan was still now on the top of his game. He kind of low-key retired and then took after Ozzy Osbourne and started his own reality TV show called Hogan Knows Best. Was it cheesy? Yeah, but it was enjoyable. Little did we know this would actually be the downfall for Hulk Hogan. Yeah, it was actually sad to see his marriage falling apart, and we all just ate it up. It was pure entertainment. His suffering was our entertainment. That's how sick we become. But then somewhere during one of the seasons, his son got in a real life car accident, street racing. I believe it was in Tampa, crashed his car, and his friend who was on the passenger side got severely injured to the point where he's now paralyzed to this day. Like, it's over. His life is over, basically. He will always need someone to care for him. So it was a pretty bad look right now for the Hogan family and dynasty. But what made things even worse, I don't know who did this, but someone leaked a private conversation Hulk Hogan had with his son in prison when he went to visit him. And man, did it look bad.
Well, I don't know what type of person John was or what he did to get himself in this situation. I know he was pretty aggressive and used to yell at people and used to do stuff. But for some reason, man, God laid some heavy shit on that kid, man. I don't know what he was into.
John was a negative person.
He was what?
He was a negative person. Will you work on that reality deal?
Yep.
For me and get that thing lined up so the minute I walk out of wherever I walk out of, it's there, boom.
Can you do it while you're on probation?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Okay, you want to do it with Pink Snickers or you want to do it with someone else?
I want to do it where I'll make the most money.
Well, then you need to do it with me, Jason, and Eric.
Okay.
You know if I'm producing the show, I won't screw you. You know that.
Yeah, of course.
I'll get you everything. I'll make you an owner.
Yeah.
You own the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let me get to work on that with Eric tonight. He's here too.
Okay, cool.
So, dude, we can get that pulled off, dude.
Reality. You guys.
The new Nick. We call it the new Nick or something.
New Nick.
Or something. We'll have to come up with a good name. Think of a good name.
I'll be thinking of a good name.
It'll
be reality, how I'm getting back on my feet and how I'm recovering after this, celebrity out of jail.
Basically, how to monetize this horrific accident. And once that leaked, that was probably the first time I saw and noticed that Hulk Hogan's reputation and this image that he had started cracking. It was literally downhill from there. Controversy after controversy after controversy. It was insane. First and foremost, stories started coming out and wrestlers started going on camera and basically exposing the business and exposing Hulk Hogan for who he is, a ruthless businessman. Hulk Hogan only cared about Hulk Hogan. And I know that probably doesn't make sense to like a lot of you, but you should dig deep dive and go down a rabbit hole of the wrestling industry and how the business worked back in the day. It's very interesting because they all have to kind of look out for themselves. See, in this business, you have to worry about your character because your character is your moneymaker. Your persona is what gets you booked. The more you rise up and the more popular you become, the more money you can demand and the more tickets sell. And Hulk Hogan was that name. He accomplished all this by basically being a backstage politician. Even so far as backstabbing his friends. Jesse Ventura, for example, was trying to start a union within the wrestling business because at that time, they were independent contractors. I believe they still are, but they get more benefits than before. Back in the day, a lot of stuff was on you. The hotels, the cars, medical, it was all on you, but you could get paid handsomely depending on where you fall on the card. Hulk Hogan was the big dog. He was big ding-a-ling in the wrestling business. And Jesse Ventura was also coming up, but they were best friends apparently. And Jesse had told Hulk Hogan about the idea of starting a union so everyone could have medical benefits, get paid better, have some sort of security, have a 401k. And what did Hulk Hogan do? Well, he went to Vince McMahon, told him what Jesse Ventura was planning on doing. And I believe Vince McMahon ended up having a falling out with Jesse Ventura. Jesse Ventura quit, and he didn't find out until the steroid trial that Hulk Hogan was the one who ratted him out.
You know, I have done stuff, you know, I mean, like the Jesse Ventura story that's he sticks to about, I went to Vince and told him that Jesse was trying to start a union. I did that, you know. I mean, I was making crazy money. I was getting my break, and then Jesse wanted to have a union where everybody got paid the same. Yeah. I said, Vince, guess what Jesse's doing, you know.
The guy who was supposed to be his best friend. So that bridge completely burned down. But as a businessman in that industry, he was the one getting paid the most. If this union thing would have happened, what does that mean for him? Well, he would probably lose money. He was making millions and millions of dollars. It would be him sacrificing his character's worth. Is it right? Absolutely not. The right thing to do was to stand with Jesse Ventura, clearly. Undertaker, who's extremely famous now, but back in the day when he was a rookie first coming in, the character was taking off and Hulk Hogan tried to burn his momentum by telling everyone that Undertaker dropped him on his head when he did a tombstone. Come to find out, he never did. Undertaker was actually extremely safe, but Hogan was thinking about Hogan. So a lot of stories started coming out as well, especially once he went to WCW with that contract. He apparently was milking the hell out of it. He was determining who was going to win, who wasn't going to win, what his character was going to do and what his character wasn't going to do. He had full creative control over his character, his IPO. He burned bridges with Bret Hart, Booker T, Jeff Jarrett, and so many more. He always put himself over first and foremost. Then I think his wife ended up divorcing him at one point or another and left him for one of their kids' friends. Disgusting, weird family. And I think he did the same thing. She took a lot of his money. Next thing you know, you see a sex tape leaking online with Hulk Hogan. Not like it's something that you want to see. You don't. But that was like a big controversy because it was released without his permission. Not only that, it was basically security camera footage of him banging his best friend's wife. Yeah, it sounds terrible, but it was actually consensual. His friend Bubba the Love Sponge is a swinger and decided to share his wife with Hulk Hogan during the time when Hulk Hogan was basically rock bottom. What a good friend. White people. But there were two major things. First of all, why was there a camera in his friend's bedroom while he was having sex with his friend's wife? And two, who leaked it? It became this big thing. He ended up suing this company called Gawker, which was like a TMZ at that time, and they're the ones who leaked the sex tape. He sued, he won, made a lot of money. All of a sudden there was rumors that somewhere within that tape, that security footage, he dropped the N-word when he was referring to his daughter's then boyfriend, I guess.
So it gets to the point where Brooke was fucking the black guy's son, where they've been hanging out, I caught them holding hands together on the tour, they were getting close to the time before I don't give a fuck, okay? I'm not a double standard type guy, I'm a racist to a point. Yeah. You know, fucking there's, but then when it comes to nice people, they already are. We all are that way. They already are. We all are that way. Yeah, but when it comes to nice people, you can't say
Everyone got upset. People were mad. He lost everything. WWE dropped him. Toys were pulled off the shelf. All the deals that he had fell through. Whatever projects he was involved in stopped. Interesting fact though, a lot of black wrestlers actually came to his defense and said he's not racist. I believe Booker T was one of them.
Hulk Hogan, we coming for you, nigga.
I should point out for the record.
Next thing you know, Hulk Hogan is on an apology tour going around and talking about how he made a mistake and blah, blah, blah. Time went by, people forgot. He did a couple of interviews here and there, started lying in a lot of interviews, just making these over exaggerated stories. I don't know if he realized that we're like in the 2000s, that people have receipts now. Like you can go back and find footage and stuff, because he was just making some wild claims and he said it with confidence. They're entertaining. He was very entertaining to listen to. It's just, you never really know, like, is he talking about Terry or is he talking about Hulk Hogan? Like, what is true? Hulk Hogan has a 10-inch dick, but Terry doesn't.
No, seriously, I do not have a 10-inch penis. No, I do not. Seriously. Yeah, because Terry Bolle's penis is not 10 inches like you're trying to say.
But people slowly forgot. He was welcomed back into the WWE. Anytime he appeared anywhere, the audience would go crazy. He would get a loud applause. Things were looking up and up for him. He found God. He became a pothead. He's opened up a bar. He started his own beer company. He campaigned for Donald Trump. He was making wrestling appearances for all these little local indie companies. He was touring the world promoting his beer. And then something tragic happened. Netflix got the rights to Raw. And for their very first night on Netflix, Hulk Hogan, he came out with the American flag and Jimmy Hart in Los Angeles, a predominantly liberal city. People weren't happy.
That was an ego pop.
Lord have mercy. Wonder what you think he went back to the dress. Well, you were there.
I was there.
What happened? What happened backstage after he came back?
No, when I saw him, he was no selling it and pushing his beer.
You could tell he was shocked, because this is the first time probably in history where he received a roar of boos instead of people cheering. He got a reality check. He was probably looking over at Jimmy and was like, man, you really stunk up the house. Afterwards, he probably went to the backstage where Jimmy was like, God, brother, they didn't really like you. This didn't work for me. Unfortunately, that was the last time Hulk Hogan appeared in WWE, because he died a couple months later.
Fans are mourning the passing of a legendary figure in the entertainment world. Hulk Hogan died at the age of 71. He was a 12-time world champion and a 2-time inductee in the World Wrestling Entertainment Hall of Fame.
So what did we learn here? Well, Hulk Hogan was an American hero. Terry was a flawed person. In fact, Terry was so flawed that he did ruin somewhat the legacy of Hulk Hogan. And the sad part is, you see all these crazy takes online where people are literally celebrating Hulk Hogan's death. I'm gonna be honest, I don't think it has anything to do with the N-word, because that's what keeps being brought up now. They're saying he was a racist and all this other stuff. And honestly, that kind of sailed years ago. People stopped caring. He moved on. Nobody was talking about it anymore. I think the reason why people were really excited that he had passed is because he voted for Trump and he campaigned for Trump.
But what happened last week when they took a shot at my hero and they tried to kill the next president of the United States? Enough was enough! And I said, let Trumpomania run wild, brother!
And that's the unfortunate thing. People judge a character based off of who they think a person is. Granted, we went over all the controversy and there's some pretty bad things, but did he ever kill anybody? Did he ever commit any serious crimes against anybody? No. He voted for a person that you didn't vote for. And if you're so bothered about the N-word, who cares? I'm just gonna be honest. I don't care who calls me the N-word. You know how many times I've been called the N-word? Too many times for me to count. I rub it off. It's just a word. Who cares? The hate got so bad that Joey Swole, the guy who was all about accountability and calling people out on their BS, folded to a mob because people were upset that he put up a picture of him dressed as Hulk Hogan because he liked Hulk Hogan.
It says all the good I've done, all the people I've helped, all for nothing. When I need help, when I need kindness and empathy, nothing. I truly hope all the people I've inspired do great things in their life and pay it forward to help others and carry on my message. But no matter how much good you do, no matter how many people you help, they just wait for a reason to hate you and tear you down. It's true, you either die a hero or live long enough to be the villain. Thank you for your support. Please remember me and smile. I love you all. I am done.
Yeah, that's what we've come to, where Joey Swole is apologizing for liking a wrestling character. But you know what the internet doesn't talk about? They don't talk about the fact that he was a pretty damn loyal employee. Think about it. He may not have been a great colleague because it's a business of being greedy, selfish, and looking out for yourself. But if I had a business, that's the type of guy you want. And everywhere that he went, he made money for the company. And he was always loyal to himself and the company. And of course, there's some wrestlers that had some good things to say about him as well, who never talked ill of him in the past, people that he got along with. He's given opportunities to people like The Big Show. He campaigned for president in a very divisive time, knowing that the industry that he's in, this celebrity Hollywood world, wrestling world, you are supposed to be a liberal. And I'm sure he knew that if he would align with Donald Trump and go out there with the real American beer and the flag, that he was going to alienate at least half of his audience. It was a risk that he took for something that he believed in. Whether it panned out or not, that's up to you. It's very subjective these days. But what we definitely never hear anybody talking about is any sort of negative interaction or experience with Hulk Hogan as a fan. There's a video that's going viral right now and put it up here.
Road nose, brother. Let me tell you something, brother. When you walk in this beat shop, I'm surprised that you still got the shirt on, Jack.
Well, let me tell you something, Hulkster. The first time I met you, I was only 3 years old, but now I'm 6 years old. So now we gotta take it to a bigger level, man. Just like when you press that no good stinky giant over your head and send them right through the table in front of 93,000 Hulkamaniacs. So what are they gonna do when the power of the Hulkster and the roaster and the dual 24-inch pythons run wild on you?
That video was shot years ago, and I remember seeing it, and I was like, man, that's so cool, man. Hulk Hogan has always been good to his fans because he knows his fans is what made Hulk Hogan. And I've never heard anyone say, hey, he was a jerk or an ass or anything. Always a good experience. Everybody I know who's ever met Hulk Hogan always said he was one of the nicest guys they ever met. He may tell some crazy, over-exaggerated stories or just straight up lies, but he was always good to his fans. Not to mention the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Before John Cena, it was Hulk Hogan who was doing it and had the most. And although his entire physique was a lie and also built off of steroids and God knows what else, the message that he sent, say your prayers, take your vitamins, and you will be good. It wasn't a bad message. And he waved that flag back and forth and represented America in a positive light in the 80s and 90s. And although he was a flawed person, clearly, those same people who are sitting there wishing him dead, especially black people, hear me out for a second, y'all. Like, for real, I saw some of those videos about y'all being all upset about the N-word and Hulk Hogan and all the other stuff. Y'all the same people are going to defend Bill Cosby when it's his time to pass. The same people who would defend R. Kelly. But you mad about some dude using a word? Get out of here, man. Like, what are we doing? It actually broke my heart seeing how society is reacting these days. That when you don't like somebody, you start wishing them death online and for everybody to see. The audacity and how crazy that is for you to literally pick up your phone, click record, and start talking about how happy you are that this person passed. That's pretty crazy. Especially, I'm sure if you look at these people's backgrounds and the way they live their lives, it's probably pretty flawed as well. There's just not a camera on you. There's no spotlight on you. But I know why we all do this. Well, it's because we're hypocrites.